There's no way we're gonna try to make them a state, right? Like, there's no like.
Play the game. I don't mind. We can play the game all they want. Mexico, we've had very good talks with them, and this is retaliatory. This is retaliatory to a certain extent.
So he's just saying it.
Millions of people flowed into our country through Mexico and Canada, and we're not going to allow that. And by the way, we have among the lowest numbers we've ever had of people crossing our border, the lowest numbers since my administration.
Mr. President, you said, so on Truth Social, you said that you were going to cut aid from South Africa. Will you plan to cut aid across other African nations, and why South Africa?
No, it's only South Africa. Terrible things are happening in South Africa.
Yeah.
The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination.
Fuck them.
And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
And on the Fed Chair Jerome Powell, he held rates. What's your reaction to him not?
They're killing whites. I don't know if they are or not. That's what a lot of people say, though. A lot of people say that.
He held the rates. He didn't cut them.
No, I'm not surprised. I think holding the rates at this point was the right thing to do.
They are. I mean, this is the way I look at it. I mean, do I want to pay for that fucking shit? No, man. Let them fucking rot. Like, that's not my problem. What happens in Africa? You think I give a fuck what happens in Africa? Get the fuck out of here.
Which country will be next on tariffs? Would you consider taxing the UK, for example?
Well, we're going to see what happens. It'll happen. But we're going to, we'll see how things work out. It might happen with them, but
it's not our problem.
It will definitely happen with the European Union. I can tell you that, because they've really taken advantage of it. And you know, we have over a $300 billion deficit. They don't take our cars, they don't take our farm products, they take almost nothing, and we take everything from them. Millions of cars, tremendous amounts of food and farm products. So the UK is way out of line, and we'll see the UK, but European Union is really out of line. UK is out of line, but I'm sure that one, I think that one can be worked out.
You mean South Africa saying? No, I do. I do. Keep in mind, I do mean South Africa, not all Africa. Like Kenya, we don't need to bring Kenya into this. Kenya didn't do anything wrong.
Atrocity.
Yeah, it's just South Africa. No, you're right. You're right.
Well, Prime Minister Starmer has been very nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
We've had numerous phone calls. We're getting along very well. And we'll see whether
we had a president from Kenya.
Budget. With the European Union, it's $350 billion deficit. So obviously something's going to take place there.
For the European Union, what's your timeline? And are you thinking along the line 25%?
Yeah.
10%?
With who? With who?
The EU, how much?
I wouldn't say there's a timeline, but it's going to be pretty soon.
Yeah.
No, I'm not concerned. We may have short-term some little pain, and people understand that. But long-term, the United States has been ripped off by virtually every country in the world.
It's probably going to, tariffs probably going to make shit more expensive in the short term for sure. Definitely. I mean, I could easily see that happening. And it sucks, right? But it's like, is it better to do that or not? I mean, I don't know. And in the long term, who knows?
We have deficits with almost every country. Not every
the long
country,
term remains to be seen. The short term is pretty much definitive.
Almost. And we're going to change it. It's been unfair. That's why we owe $36 trillion. We have deficits with everybody. We help everybody. We've been helping everybody for years. And to be honest, I don't think they appreciate it. So we're going to change that. We're going to change it fast. We're going to make America great again. We have to focus on our country. We have tremendous potential if properly used, and we have to focus on our country.
We got to bring back nuclear power. That's what we got to do. We got to bring back a lot of nuclear power.
Tremendous deficits with China, tremendous deficits with the European Union, tremendous deficits with Mexico and Canada. And why?
Nuclear war?
What's the purpose of that? Why would we have deficits? And you look at...
I don't want to do that.
If you look at pharmaceuticals and drugs, if you look at various products, it's much cheaper in other countries. We're not going to allow that much longer. We're not going to take it.
The idea What's going on?
We'll
Well,
next time that we have a hurricane, we'll use a nuke on it.
Lunatics, and we're getting them
Wait,
out.
what?
U.S.
USAID or what's going on there?
Well, it's been run by a bunch of radical lunatics, and we're getting them out.
Fuck 'em.
USAID, run by radical lunatics, and we're getting them out, and then we'll make a decision.
Fuck 'em. Yeah.
I've spoken with people from Canada, I've spoken with people from Mexico, and I've spoken to a lot of other people too. I'm speaking with Prime Minister Trudeau tomorrow morning, and I'm also speaking with Mexico tomorrow morning. And I don't expect anything very dramatic. We put tariffs on. They owe us a lot of money, and I'm sure they're going to pay.
Would you send troops to take the Canal of Panama?
About what?
Panama, the Canal of Panama. Would you send US troops?
I don't think troops will be necessary in Panama. What Panama has done is terrible for national security for this part of the world. And, you know, 70% of the signage on the Panama Canal was written in
Heard
Chinese.
Mexico's already caving. Oh yeah,
Right.
they did.
So it wasn't meant for China.
Yeah, they roached
It should have
out,
never
man.
been made. The deal was a ridiculous deal. We lost 38,000 people building the Panama Canal, one of the great wonders of the world. 38, think of it, 38. It was the most expensive project ever built by this country, if you take it forward. The most expensive project ever built.
USAID
We lost
funded woke
38,000.
games.
And what happened?
Wait, hold up. Wait, what? The USAID funded woke video game. Wait, is that real? We're gonna look this up on AI after this.
China owns it all of a
No,
sudden?
no,
It's not
we're
going to
gonna-
happen. We're not going to let that happen. We have
We're gonna
national
look this
security
up.
concerns, and they wouldn't let it happen either.
Yeah.
Mr. President, what would Canada and Mexico need to do for you to lift the tariff? What are specifically you want? They'd have to balance out their trade, number one. They've got to stop people from pouring into our country, and we've stopped it. They haven't stopped it. We've stopped it.
Yeah.
They have to stop people from pouring in, and
funded
we have
woke
to stop
stuff.
fentanyl, and that includes China.
No, we're gonna look into
Fentanyl
this.
has killed this year at least 200,000 people. It's pouring in
lot.
from China through Mexico and Canada, and they've got to stop it. And if they don't stop it, the tariffs are going to get worse, a lot worse.
Mr.
Nope.
President, I'm going to the border.
All right. Well, there it is, dude, spouting bullshit. Y'all think he's spouting bullshit? The Mexican president didn't think that. I'll tell you that. Yeah, she certainly didn't fucking think that. So I don't know who thinks that. Yeah, it's not true. Yeah, I guess so. People say he's signing executive orders and shit. Like, I don't know about that. Seems like that's not what's happening. Yeah, it seems like that's absolutely not what's happening. That's what's happening. Oh, fuck. Is this new?
Thank you, sir. Next, we have designation of Rick Grinnell, to be your envoy for special missions.
I sent him to California to turn on the water. We turned it on. It was not easy because we had to go through a lot of environmentalists that are causing a lot of problems. And we have billions of gallons of water.
Well, I don't
it
even
was
know
on
this
3
is
days
live.
ago. You probably saw. It should have gotten a lot of press, but it didn't get much.
It sounds new.
All we're doing is giving Los Angeles and the entire state of California virtually unlimited water, which they could have done 5 years ago, which I told them they should do, but the environmentalists stopped them. And we opened it, and we did it regardless of the state. And now the state seems to be very happy. I spoke with Gavin Newsom, and he's
You
very
saw
happy.
he
I almost
corrected
called him by
himself.
the other name, but my little nickname for him. But I think they're all happy. They have a lot of water in California. Too bad we didn't have it about 2 months
Man.
ago, right?
He almost said
by
it.
the
He
way,
did.
That was a big move. We have. I don't know if you saw the pictures that were released of the water pouring down from the Pacific Northwest and Canada and lots of other places.
Trump posted
And
a
it's
kill
a pretty
cam of
amazing
bombing
sight.
ISIS in caves. What?
He had a very big Friday trip. You're right. We'll talk about
What?
it. He's a good man, Rick.
He
Lastly,
did?
sir, we have a designation of Mark Burnett as your special envoy to the United Kingdom.
You know Mark Burnett is?
Oh my God.
Figure he should be good.
Let me see how I
He's
find
certainly
this.
done a great job. Friend of mine, and
This is so
very
fucking
talented.
funny.
Yeah, we have very talented people working for us.
See how I
Hold
find
that
it.
one up because Mark gets so much television.
He actually.
He'll be thrilled to see it.
Oh my
He's going
God.
to do a good job.
Thank you, sir. Next, your administration has smashed records for
Wow.
appointing large numbers of highly
He pinned
qualified,
his-
capable people at all levels of the federal government. These are 28 sub-cabinet level officials being appointed to a number of different departments
Content
and
makes
agencies.
itself,
Some
yeah.
of them are quite important positions like departmental general counsels. But these are people who have been pre-vetted and have received your approval previously.
Very good.
Great. This is gonna be 4 years of this shit.
Okay.
He posted
Thank you,
on
sir.
Instagram as well.
Next, this is an executive order. This charges your Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, and your Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, to begin a process that will hopefully result in the creation of an American sovereign wealth fund.
What?
It's a very exciting event.
What?
We're going to have a sovereign wealth fund, which we've never had. We have a lot of things that create wealth, and you're seeing that over the last 2 weeks. I think we've created more wealth. Other people have created de-wealth. The people, my predecessors, we're creating a lot of wealth. Scott, maybe you'd like to say something about it, and I'd ask also Howard to say something about it.
Yes, sir. This is very exciting. We're going to stand this thing up within the next 12 months. We're going to monetize the asset side of the U.S. balance sheet for the American people. We're going to put the assets to work. And I think it's going to be very exciting. We're going to study best practices that's done around the world. It'll be a combination of liquid assets, assets that we have in this country as we work to bring them out for the American people.
Yeah.
The extraordinary size and scale of the U.S. government and the business
I
it
don't know if
does
that's a good
with
idea or not.
companies should create value for American citizens. If we are going to buy 2 billion COVID vaccines, maybe we should have some warrants and some equity in these companies and have that grow for the help of the American people. So bringing all these things together, I think Scott and I will create an amazing sovereign wealth fund for you, sir.
That's a lot of
Some other
vaccines.
countries have sovereign wealth funds, and they're much smaller countries, and they're not the United States. We have tremendous potential in this country, tremendous. You're seeing that's what's happened just in a short period of time. And as an example, TikTok, we're going to be doing something perhaps with TikTok, and perhaps not. If we make the right deal, we'll do it. Otherwise, we won't. But I have the right to do that, and we might put that in the sovereign wealth fund, whatever we make, or if we do a partnership with very wealthy people, a lot of options, but we could put that as an example in the fund, and we have a lot of other
US
things
government
that we
owning
could put
TikTok?
in the fund, and I think in a short
I don't
period of
know.
time we'd have one of the biggest funds, and you know some of them are pretty large. I must tell you, some of the the Saudi Arabia fund is on the large side.
Yeah, I heard
Eventually
about
we'll
that.
catch it, but we're going to create a lot of wealth for the fund. And I think it's about time that this country had a sovereign wealth fund, and these two gentlemen and some others are going to work with them very closely, and they'll be heading it up, and they're going to do a great job. Two highly respected people that have done unbelievably well in the world, in the real world. So that's a big deal, huh?
Yes, sir. I think it's going to create value and be of great strategic importance.
Okay.
Mr. President, why is it important for Elon Musk to have access to the payment systems at Treasury?
Well, he's got access only to letting people go that he thinks are no good if we agree with him, and it's only if we agree with him. He's a very talented guy from the standpoint of management and costs, and we put him in charge of seeing what he can do with certain groups and certain numbers. Some of the numbers are horrible, what he's found. Think of it, $100 million on condoms to Hamas.
I thought it was only
Condoms
50.
to Hamas. And many other things that are frankly even more ridiculous.
They
And
doubled
we're
it?
finding tremendous waste, really waste
This,
more than
by the way,
anything
is
else,
probably
I think you could
total
say.
bullshit.
Probably fraud and
It's funny.
abuse could be added to it. More standard waste, fraud, and abuse. But they're finding tremendous amounts of really bad things, bad spending. You've been writing about some of it, frankly, and some of the things that they've been doing is just terrible. Elon can't do and won't do anything without our approval, and we'll give him the approval where appropriate. Where not appropriate, we won't. But he reports in, and it's something that he feels very strongly about, and I'm impressed because he's running, obviously, a big company. It has nothing to do with, there's a conflict that we won't let him get near it, but he does have a good natural instinct. He's got a team of very talented people. We're trying to shrink government, and he can probably shrink it as well as anybody else, if not better. Where we think there's a conflict or there's a problem, we won't let him go near it. But he has some very good ideas, and we have a lot of very other talented people also. We're bringing in the most talented people in the world. By the way, we just unrelated, but we have two of the most talented people in the world.
Remind me about that woke video game shit after
and Larry
this.
Ellison. So they are two legends in
yeah, we're gonna look
business,
this up.
publishing, and probably every other. Rupert is Larry pretty much in a class by himself, right? I mean, although he may have a couple of bucks more, I don't know, but Rupert is in a class by himself. He's an amazing guy, and Larry is Larry. Larry's one of the most serious players anywhere in the world, so it's an honor to have you. This has nothing to do with you people, but they're here, and I thought it would be appropriate. I'm sure you didn't recognize them. If you're all going crazy to say, what are they doing here?
Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, on the tariff, is there any chance that Canada or China could also get out of the tariffs after you start the deal with Mexico?
Well, nobody's out with Mexico. We had a great talk with Mexico, and we had.
This is actual
President
like.
Sheinbaum is a woman. I like her very much. We've had good relationships, but we have to stop fentanyl from coming in, whether I like somebody or not, and we have to stop the illegal aliens from coming in. I think we've lost 200,000 people on average a year for many years, much higher than the 100,000. Could be
It's
even
mafia
closer
tactics,
to
it's cartel
300,000.
tactics. I know that.
They've agreed to put in 10,000 soldiers permanently, like forever, 10,000 soldiers at their side of the border and stop fentanyl and illegal aliens from coming into our country. They have a big incentive.
It already did work.
Other than that, we've agreed to talk and consider various other things. We haven't agreed on tariffs yet, and maybe we will, maybe we won't. But we have a very good relationship. I also spoke with Prime Minister Trudeau of Canada, and we had a good talk in the morning, but I did ask him a couple of questions, like, you know, banks aren't allowed to do business in Canada. Canada is very tough. Canada is very, you know, we're not treated well by Canada, and we have to be treated well.
Yeah, fuck Canada. Yeah,
banks
true.
Are not, as an example, allowed. Did you know that banks, American banks, are not allowed to do business in Canada? Can you believe that?
I don't know if that's
true or not. And that's one of many things, and we talked about it, and I think we'll win most of the subjects. But for some reason, a lot of things have been very unfair with Canada. I noticed that in the first term. You deal with people, and after a while, you begin to realize, like you learn that Larry Ellison's very tough to do business with, okay? He's a very tough guy. I mean, I'm sure you're shocked to hear that. But Canada is very tough. They're very, very tough to do business with. And we can't let them take advantage of the U.S. They don't take our agricultural product for the most part. They don't take our cars. They make cars, but they basically don't take our cars. And, you know, we don't need...
Banks aren't allowed in Canada?
I think we're going to have another good conversation today.
Because Canadian banks can't go bankrupt?
But we don't need them to make our cars. We don't need them to give us lumber. We don't need them for agricultural products because we have all the agriculture we need. They don't take our agricultural product for the most part, our milk, dairy, etc. A little bit they do, but not much.
So we have to milk Canada to make them take our milk?
And as far as cars are concerned, they took in a big percentage, almost 19% of the market.
All right.
And, you know, I wouldn't mind making our cars in the United States, so we have a problem there. I'd like to make our cars in the U.S. We don't need Canada to make our cars. With that being said, we're going to have another call at 3 o'clock. We had a call this morning. It was a pretty good call, I'd say. So the call with Mexico went very well in the sense that they're very strong now on the border. They're going to put soldiers there. So, actually, they're best military soldiers, and they're going to be at the border. 10,000. That's a lot of soldiers, and they want to protect it also. You know, they don't want people running through Mexico, coming through Mexico to come into our country. So they're going to do that. And then we're going to talk about other things over the next, and we're going to have, over the next 30 days, we're going to have Scott, Howard, and Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, lead the delegation, and we're going to have a big negotiation with Mexico. I'll be involved too, and President Sheinbaum will be involved to see whether or not we can work something out on the tariffs.
Somebody says fuck the USA.
China will be speaking to China.
Boys, we got a Canadian in chat.
On fentanyl in China, President Trump.
We don't want fentanyl coming into our country.
We got a Canadian.
And we had another big thing, speaking of China. China's involved with the Panama Canal. They won't be for long. And that's the way it has to be. Marco just got back, as you know. He's in the process of coming back. I guess he's almost back by now. And he had a very long conversation with the leader of Panama, the respected man, and some others, the entire leadership group. And we're trying to work a deal on the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal was given foolishly years ago to, it shouldn't have been happened, years ago to Panama, like Jimmy Carter.
Why do we give it to
the
them?
Group.
Why do we do that?
We lost 38,000 people building the Panama Canal, like one of the great wonders of the world. It's the biggest job we've ever built, the biggest
it's in Panama?
project we've ever
Who
built
cares?
in this country, dollar-wise and every other way.
Soy?
38,000 people died, Americans, all men, just about, laborers and construction people. They went to Panama. The mosquito got them. Between mosquito and snakes, we lost 38,000 people. It was the most expensive project ever built by the United States. The biggest, most expensive project we ever built 110 years ago. If you bring it up to now, it would have been the equivalent of $2 trillion. The most expensive we ever built, and we gave it away for $1, okay? We gave it away essentially for...
It should have been at least $5.
And we either want it back, or we're going to get something very strong, or we're going to take it back.
This is ridiculous.
And China will be dealt with. And we didn't give that to China. We gave it to Panama. We shouldn't have given it to Panama. But Panama, as you know, has violated the agreement, totally violated the agreement.
Oh, my
God. So that's in the process right now. But they did have a very good meeting with the head of Panama.
Jesus Christ.
On China, can you say your current thinking about whether China should be forced to pay reparations both for fentanyl deaths and the million COVID?
No, I haven't talked about that, but they do have tariffs. Honestly, nobody, the amount of money that was lost and most importantly, the lives lost because of COVID is not something that anybody could ever even imagine. It's probably $60 trillion, and all the countries in the world don't have $60 trillion. The amount of death and the amount of destruction and the
that
amount of money
COVID thing
lost
was a pretty big mistake, huh?
Probably $60 trillion.
Yeah, they really fucked that one up, huh?
About 3 months ago, I was just figured out. Nobody knows what the real number is, but it's almost an infinite number. The damage done. No, but I have not discussed that. What I have discussed is we'll have some good meetings with China. We have meetings planned, and we'll see what happens. But that was just an opening salvo. If we can't make a deal with China, then the tariffs will be very, very substantial. Okay, I'm going to sign this one.
Sir, this is, you've obviously made making America healthy again a key priority of this administration.
No fat
people. A key
people.
component of that is obviously heart health. This is a ceremonial proclamation declaring the month of February to be National Heart Month.
Okay.
So Black History Month has been replaced with Heart Month?
We'll see, but it looks like we're doing very well with nominations.
Mr. President, have you been involved with calling senators who had some concerns about Tulsi Gabbard?
Yes. Yeah, I've gotten great response. And they want to do what's right, and we've had a good response. I think we'll do well. We have great people like this. We have great people
When's
coming
Long
in.
Month?
I'd like to say the best ever recruited for government. I think we